What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the New York Open. We have ourselves a very, very interesting day that's going to be unfolding. FOMC. So listen, if you are new passing through, make sure you hit the subscribe button, not just so you want to get involved in this great content that we put out, but tonight at 6 p.m. GMT, which will be 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to be going live for the FOMC meeting. Now, the FOMC usually lasts at around 45 minutes to an hour. The first 30 minutes, we're going to be getting the federal funds rate. We're going to get the FOMC projections. And then, of course, the statement, the minutes. And then we'll be going into the press conference, which will take us into around 3:15 Eastern Standard Time and 7:15 UK time. Now, the question on everyone's mind. Is Bitcoin going to go up as high as an eagle's tit, or is it going to fall flat like 4 flat tires? Man, I messed that one up, man. I was practicing that, man. I stood in front of the mirror and I was like, right, I've got to say this correctly, man. I said the first bit right. But anyways, word on the street is that all the big banks are calling for 25 basis points. Only two banks are thinking that the rate hike could be paused. That's Goldman Sachs and Wells Fargo. Now, what would be the impact of pausing the interest rates? Well, the UK tried to do that, and they saw a surprise increase in inflation. Not looking too good now, is it? Usually what happens in the UK and the European zone itself is usually going to be reflected in the US as well. Powell has got a lot to work with today. If the markets don't hear what they want to hear, any profits that you have right now, just take them into consideration. Lock them up. Take some money off the table. If you're going to be bold and go with the flavor and just keep on trading, mad love and respect to you. You got balls. Because during these times, things can go wrong. Now, I'm not no fudder. Right? You've been watching the videos lately. We've been talking about certain things that are unfolding. Remember, the market is not the economy, and the economy is not the market. It takes the market much less time to absorb information than it does for the economy to come into play. We saw the idea of the job openings yesterday and how most of the job applications that are being put out are sort of fake. So we've already got wrong information anyway, which is why we look at the charts to make sense of the madness that is unfolding. So, if you are new, we're going to get into some price action right now. We're going to talk Bitcoin. We're going to look at Forex. We're going to look at commodities. We're going to look at some stocks, and then hopefully make sense of what's to unfold later on today. So, let's have a conversation. Okay, then. So, here we go. Good old BTC. Right now, 28,500 seems to be the brick wall that Bitcoin is struggling to get above. Okay, let's grab the good old book map and have a look at what's going on over there. Bitcoin currently sat at the VWAP, as you can see right now. It's not really doing much. And we do have a little bit of commitment coming into the chart. Right now, we've got 348 Bitcoin above the 28,240 zone. Further down here, we got 28,000, the whole number, which is showing 424 Bitcoin orders stacked. And it doesn't look like they're going to get rid of it either. What will unfold today? Now, crypto, don't get it twisted. I said this today, okay? Bitcoin has been moving up, but so has everything else. Now, Bitcoin's time to shine will be when everything is down and Bitcoin stays up. Remember, we want to be keeping an eye on that eagle. That's what we're looking for. So if we break it down from the daily perspective, Bitcoin has done very well to hold above the 800 EMA. The more time they spend away from this zone, the more of a conviction we'll have that Bitcoin could spike up higher. Now, don't get it twisted. The FOMC might bring in a bit of an inducement. What do we mean by that? Let's hypothetically assume that you've got Bitcoin right here. And here's a price zone. You've got 30K up here, for example. And then, of course, you've got 28K down here. Price right now is inside of this zone, okay? During FOMC, even before Powell even says anything, Bitcoin could spike up. Why? Because what's going to be happening is this. Orders are going to be coming into the chart, all right? Let me just change this bad boy up. Hold on. orders are going to be coming into the book map. And as you can see up here, we've got some commitment. Again, 28,700. We've got commitment on both sides, but there's bigger commitment down below at 27,570. Now, the market might not do much in today's New York Open because we're waiting for the Federal Reserve meeting later on today. So again, if you are new passing through, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on tonight's live. It might be a little bit of a long one as well. If you remember back in the days when we used to smash out the price action and start jumping through and through with assets, we're going to have some fun later on this evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking forward to that bad boy. Anyways, so what I'm trying to convey to you over here, guys, is this. We've got commitment coming up here, and we've got some commitment down here. Prior to FOMC, if the idea is to bring Bitcoin down, given that it has been moving up quite aggressively, and we've got a few of the divergence traders are suggesting that Bitcoin's moving up on volume going down, okay, that could be a bit of a divergence. So all my guys that apply conventional trading practices will be looking at this thinking, maybe Bitcoin could be coming down. Who knows? But it's what they do before they come down. And always try and get yourself to the state of awareness where don't go into a trade thinking, right, it has to happen because I come along with the big, yeah, you know what I was going to say there, but come along with the great analysis and then say, this is what has to happen. No. Always ask yourself, what could they do before they achieve that goal? What would they likely do beforehand? So let's make the assumption here. Bitcoin at 30K up here, for example, and then you got 28. Before the FOMC comes out, they could actually spike price up purely on the excitement and the rush of orders because there are people right now sat at the charts waiting to work out whether or not they should open a long or open a short. Right now, there are traders that are placing orders above certain zones and below certain zones in anticipation that they hope that price breaks their orders and continues up. But this is why I'm suggesting to you to be very, very cautious when playing with fire, okay? Naturally, if they do decide to break out and move up, wait to see if there's going to be a sustained move, okay? The further Bitcoin moves away whilst the news is on and they are giving information, you'll start to understand that the market is in acceptance of it. Then Bitcoin will continue to move up. But it's what they do during that time where they could spike price up and then drop price back down aggressively to only bring it back up again. This is where the vector candles comes into play. Let me show you something. So earlier on this morning, I sent an update to the patrons of the channel and we were talking about what happened on the last FOMC meeting. Okay, so let's just go over here. And this was the last FOMC meeting right here. Now, Bitcoin was climbing up, all right? Green vector candles right here. Happy days, happy days, happy days. Then prior to the news announcements, whilst it was happening, because it started at 6 o'clock, Bitcoin spiked up because everyone was trading on the idea that Bitcoin was going to continue higher. It spiked up. Then as the meeting came to an end, they ripped it back down again. All right. Now we look at the chart right now and we say to ourselves, okay, then is that the same scenario that we've got right here with Bitcoin? Check this out. Bitcoin has been moving up non-stop, but this has been somewhat more of a conservative move up. This is consistent with what looks like a bullish trend. But notice the volume is dropping off as it's going up. We really need volume to increase whilst it's moving up, not decrease. This is where guys are stepping in with the idea of divergences right now. We can put 2 and 2 together and assume Bitcoin is going to continue higher because there's liquidity up the top side. Let's just bring this down again. Hold on. What have we got? 28,800. We got 332 Bitcoin orders. So let's just make sense of the logic right now. Go to the high block itself. Up here, you can see we got a bag load of short liquidations, and these are all the guys that are trading 25x margin. That means they're putting up a little bit more money to take advantage of leverage at 25x. Remember, the 100x traders, excuse me, the 100x traders are the ones that put less liquidity, so they're more prone to risk, all right? 25x margin, that's a place where Mr. Market Maker might want to send price towards. At the same token, we look further down, we got the same distribution. we've got long liquidations down at the lows right here. And it seems to be quite a few long liquidations down here, which could be enticing for Mr. Market Maker. Zooming into this chart itself, you can see that at the highest point, $77 million worth of longs were opened at 28,236. They have been liquidated. Down at the lowest point, $58 million worth of short liquidations were opened at 28,085. They too have just been liquidated. All right? Narrowly missed it right there. There you go. 28,238. That's where they got liquidated. So if you just look at this chart, you'll naturally see that people are programmed to buy and sell at the wrong times. They need price to go up to buy, and they need price to go down to sell. But that's not what happens. Remember, in order to buy, someone has to sell. But in order to sell, someone has to buy. And this is for futures trading. Look at all the highest points that people buy at. Look at this. Sad days. $39 million worth of longs were opened at 28,416. And then, unfortunately, those same $39 million worth of longs were liquidated at 28,259. Again, why on earth, with the brain the size of an ant, would you be going long at the highest point? What, because you're in fear that you're going to miss out on something? Nah, man. Again, at the lowest point, we take the price going down here. Here's an example. Let me just show this to you, just to put things into perspective. Look at this. At the lowest point, Bitcoin, $66 million worth of shorts were opened at 27,784. Bang, they rip it back up again. Again, at the lowest point, $54 million worth of shorts opened at 27,976. Bang, they rip it back up again. This is the treachery of the marketplace, guys. It's futures markets. All of this here, the blue lines up here and the pink lines down here, they're dead money. That's why I'm suggesting to you to pay yourselves at your earliest convenience. Lock in some profits because Bitcoin might pull the dirty. Hopefully, Bitcoin can just break up and rip as high as it wants. Remember, the eagle. That's what we're looking for, okay? And if it does decide to do that, guys, take some money off the table. Keep certain positions open, but take some money off the table because it's going to be a treacherous time later on for the FOMC. Going into other assets to make sense of the madness. Euro is making a move up, but it's coming back down again. And of course, Euro is going to be holding out because of the relationship it has with the dominance of the dollar. Remember, the dominance of the dollar is made up of a basket of assets. Okay, so that's Euro, that's pound, that's the Canadian dollar, there's krone, and what else have we got? The Japanese yen, okay? So all of those assets trade against the dollar. Now, when euro goes up, the dominance of the dollar comes down because the euro makes up 56% of the transactions on the dominance of the dollar. It's because everyone is exchanging euros. The US doesn't like the euro straight up because it's probably the only next currency that could, in essence, challenge the dollar because it makes up the bulk of the dominance of the dollar. That's what the word on the street suggests. But the idea and the logic is that if the dominance of the dollar finds struggle inside of this zone, we've got vector candles down here that we could see for the dominance of the dollar. And this is a very important area of support. So you just got to be mindful of the relationship between dollar and euro. Everything is very extended. Word on the street is suggesting that we do have a big correction that is due to happen. But if the market snubs that, then we're going to have a different story. Going into the yields are starting to climb back up again. We don't want the yields to climb up. All right, we need the yields to stay down. 2-year yield is now at 4.2%. And then at the 10-year yield, it's also coming back up at 3.6%. The 10-year bond market is starting to topple over. This is where we got to pay attention. The volatility index. There is a very important zone that the volatility index may come in to take later on. So just be mindful. Down here, we got a vector candle region right here, which would suggest that this is where we would expect price to move up if the volatility index goes down. Likewise, if the volatility index moves up, everything is going to go down. That means they're favoring more puts. So right now, you can see they're marking price down lower, calls are coming in, and prices should be moving higher. And we're going to wait for FOMC to decide the fate of the volatility index, all right? Because it tells us what the implied volatility is going to be later on. All right. Moving on from that, ladies and gentlemen, gold. Gold right now started to pull back down, came in with a little bit of our projection, hits the high of 2009, comes all the way back down, and now it's currently basing out, recovers the green vector candle regions right here, and is now stabilizing. Now, gold has been a little bit of a hedge, and Bitcoin and gold have moved together in sync, which is what you want to see, all right? But gold traders right now, they've hedged themselves against something. They've been selling up after they've been buying everything. They've sold everything up now, and now is the time for them to pick up gold at a cheaper price. How low are they going to send gold is a different story. Well, the FOMC is going to suggest that. Now, going into something else. Here it is. Here is the list of all the banks right now that are calling for a 25 basis point against those who think there's going to be a pause. Goldman Sachs says a pause. Wells Fargo says a pause. Okay? Now, a couple of words here. The difficulty is there's not just what's happening in the financial markets right now, but also estimating to what extent banks might curtail lending as a result. As Sonia said, head of the US macro BNM Mellon. Now, look, this is the thing that you've got to understand. All right? Banks themselves, if it costs too much money to make money, they're not going to make money. So we can already project out that earnings season ain't going to be looking good later on, which is why they're saying that 2023 could be the year that the US hits a recession. But it's all down to what the Fed does with interest rates. Now, if we do get here it is. So we've got core next week. We have a very important time. We've got the CPI data coming out. Unemployment claims are coming out. And of course, core price index is going to come out again on March the 31st. And if that comes in and shows an increase, then we know that inflation is just going to be a pain in the backside for good old Jerome Powell, because that's what it is right now. Today is about Powell suggesting whether he's going to fight inflation or he's going to save the banks. Well, logically, banks have already been saved. Okay. Now, let's just quickly go over to USD JPY. Dollar yen is starting to come up right now, and you can see it's starting to leave a little bit of a footprint right here on what we could expect them to do. But taking into consideration, we do have these vector candles right here that we need to be mindful of. If the dominant strength, if the dollar strength does come back in, then we would expect dollar to start climbing back up again. In my honest opinion, the markets might not give us that much flavor. Let's just have a look at Tesla. Tesla right here is starting to climb up, maybe filling the gap up here. And we've also got the other gap down here that we need to be mindful of. But it's all going to be based on how the NASDAQ and the S&P actually deliver today. So what have we got? NASDAQ seems to be climbing up, doing ever so well to move higher, is trading lower for the day. And we look left and we see that NASDAQ has got this high right here, very important high. All right, this could be one huge M formation. Let's assume that that could be the case. What if this creates an M formation, but we do have resistance up here? The vector candle hasn't been fully recovered yet for NASDAQ. If you see right here, there's a vector zone. Mark that off in your charts just to understand that. Happy days, 50% of that area. They're tapping into that liquidity right now as we speak. All right, oil. Now, oil has been experiencing a little bit of madness, all because of what's going on in the banking sector. You can see that oil is starting to climb up and make its way towards that 70 mark. Strategic, I know you traded that, bro. Mad love if you did take advantage of that from this morning. Happy days. Vector candle recovery. Now, if you don't like trading oil, trade USD CAD. Because when oil goes up, that's beneficial for the Canadian dollar. So then we go over to USD CAD and have a look at that bad boy, and you can see it's trading sideways. That is a cause for concern. Because naturally, when oil goes up, USD CAD should be going down because it's good for the for the Canadian dollar. But Canadian dollar, US CAD is not doing anything. And that always gets my attention when the dominance of the dollar doesn't move, when USD CAD doesn't move, when dollar yen keeps climbing up, when USD Swiss holds out. Something is brewing, okay? GBP USD makes it. What am I doing? Messed up that bad boy. Here we go. Cool. Sentiment chart. Dashboard. Where we at? There we go. Smart money. So right now, smart money confidence is selling into retail. That's why this blue line keeps on moving up. Okay? The idea is that when this bad boy decides to roll over, we would assume that smart money is going to start buying. That means they buy when what? When prices are coming down. So they've been selling all the way up. Look left, they've been buying all the way down. Now they're selling into those zones. So we're just looking for next points of interest in the chart where we would assume that they're going to stop selling from. Okay? And this is these areas right here, 1.23 on pound. Now remember, if we go back into Bitcoin itself, we're going to assume that if Bitcoin can sustain its behavior and keep on moving up, because a lot of people right now are witnessing Bitcoin coming into this red vector zone, but be careful because we have had 1 and 2, 3 hits to the high, okay? The last time Bitcoin did that, behavior was back down here, and we had 1, 2, 3 consecutive hits to the high. I'm not including these ones right here, but these are the areas right here that Bitcoin behavior could suggest that it might come down before it goes up. Principally, I would want Bitcoin to come down first. That's what I would want. I'd be more confident in Bitcoin coming down rather than going up, because when it comes down, if it can't break certain zones, it would suggest support. We've got the psychological regions right here that they actually tested out in this zone right here. You can see they held inside of that zone, okay? Now, naturally, we're going to expect Bitcoin to start working its way back up again. That's the logic. Okay? That's what we're looking for. Now, going into the smaller time frames. Green vector candles coming in above on the daily open. The markets will be opening at 20 past. Let's just pull up XO charts for a split second and have a look at the orders. So here we go. In front of you right now, we've got Bitcoin. We've got Bitcoin USDT on Bybit. I've got the Bitcoin futures markets right here. So the futures markets aren't fully open just yet, so we don't really see that much liquidity coming in for Bitcoin. But in the futures markets, they are trading above the value area high, which is this area right here. If you can see that, happy days. Now, let's just go into the actual futures markets and witness what we've got right here. Bitcoin is currently at a value area high. The principle suggests that value area high should be a zone of resistance because they are seeking value towards the highest range of the day. So if they can't sustain it, then likely price is going to start reversing and come back down. That would be the logic, okay? Now, if Bitcoin, if we don't see, because I'm looking here and you can see the pull stack orders right here are showing me that there are a lot of guys planting a lot of sales here in limit orders to prevent price from continuing up. But if you look on the left, we've also got the same distribution of guys placing limit buys to not allow price to go lower. We got 55 Bitcoin orders down here, 67 just come in, 30's just come in. They're all positive. But we're getting some commitment here, 100. Whoa, 100 just came in at that point right there. Minus 74, plus 55 again. So there seems to be this battle right now between the bids and the ask on who wants to try and protect this area. But we are in a value area high, which suggests to me that the next valid point of support is either going to sit at the point of control where most of the contracts were exchanged. But if you look here, you can see there's also 1,100 contracts of Bitcoin right there. And even at the point of control down there, you've got another 1,100. So there seems to be a bit of a weird balance right now. We've got the VWAP down below at 614, but then you can see the open price and the value area low. But you can see our range is relatively tight today because Bitcoin hasn't gone anywhere because that's what happens with news announcements. All right. So we're just waiting to see if Bitcoin can find its feet to try and climb higher. As long as this pull stack orders flow right here cancels the orders, happy days are canceling the orders, then we would assume that Bitcoin's going to try work its way back up again. Go into bookmap itself, and we're seeing a little bit of movement on the delta, as we can see right here, coming away from the VWAP itself. The problem that we've got is Bitcoin might be in a bit of a rotation with the VWAP, so that implies that there's no volatility. So if I bring up the chart for you a second right now, we'll have a look at that. Let's just bring up the VWAP, happy days, cool. So there we are. This is the weekly VWAP, and it's not really suggesting anything. There's a rotation. It's just going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's not really giving me any flavor as to volatility in Bitcoin. And we said this yesterday in the live stream. Same structure, same zone. So there's nothing much happening. We've got 5-6 minutes until price action starts to start picking up. Let's just go over to XRP for a split second, ladies and gentlemen. XRP makes a nice move to the upside, takes back the vector candle zones and starts working its way back down again. Did you pay yourselves? Did you take some money off the table? Please. Up 15% and everyone's buying it. Man, let's just go over here for a second if that's the case. Let's get XRP up. Here we go. Where are the liquidation points for XRP? Let me see how many people brought yesterday. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, my gosh. Here we go. Look at that. Oh, my days. Here we go. Let's just zoom in a little bit. And let's make sense of this madness. How unfortunate. Look at this. Mr. Market Maker's wet dream. Check this out. Long started at 25.2 million at 0.486 cents. $25 million worth of longs opened. Again, 28 million opened at 0.48 cents. Again, going further up, 4.8 million opened long at 0.48 cents. Going up again, we've got 49 cents with 8.9 million and 6.3 million for 49 cents again. And then again at 49 cents, 0.492 cents at 3.4 million. Everyone was going long on this move to the upside. Look at this. Brilliant. Brilliant representation of market maker just sucking into people, but it's the guys that were running shorts. Look at that, 2.275 million. Shorts were opened. They didn't get liquidated. That was their liquidation point up there, okay, inside of that zone. Didn't get liquidated. Happy days. Unfortunately, 3.2 million shorts were opened at 0.48 cents, and they kind of came back up. No, they didn't even do it. There you go. That's their liquidation point. So they didn't get hit. And then, of course, everything comes back down again. Again, the same example that I showed you earlier on regarding Bitcoin. People going long at the highest point, just don't do it, man. Don't go long when it's up. Go long when it's down. That's the logic. That's how you trade like a market maker, all right? You don't have to be a market maker to trade like them, you know? Anyone that wants to play football aspires to be like Cristiano Ronaldo, okay? You've got a football and you kick it. Cristiano Ronaldo kicks a football now. He kicks it really good. You could obviously practice to do that. Same principle here. If markets are going up, why are you going long at the highest point? Because it's pumping. Bruh, come on, man. We talk about it all the time. Smart money concepts would dictate that. Yeah? This line goes up when they're selling, okay? That's what happens. They sell into traders. This line goes down when they're buying. That's the logic, okay? Another asset. Let's go over to Ethereum. Ethereum, there you go, doing nothing. Stuck at the daily open. Spike, spike, spike. This is very important, actually. Bitcoin's trying to climb above its daily open, and it has succeeded above the daily open very well. We've got the vector candle wick region right there that we need to be mindful of. Let me just get the book map again and have a look. Still trading above the VWAP itself. The markets are still not opening just yet, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you in the room right now? 1,500. Yet no one is actually liking the stream. 200 people like the stream. Mad love to my people that have liked the stream. Where's my other 1,500 people at? Come on. It's a simple thing. Hey, Bitcoin. Look at this bad boy. Pre-market's coming into play right now. Bitcoin's making a big move up. 500 Bitcoin at 28,400. We got some movement in the chart, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just have a look at Bitcoin right now. Coming back into that violet vector candle right there. Happy days. Let's move our chart across. Cool. Volume is kind of low as well, so just keep an eye out on this 10-minute time frame. Now, let's just make sense of this madness. 332 Bitcoin coming in at 28,380. We've got another stack at 28,410 with 419. 426 Bitcoin at 28,500 would be the next logical point for Bitcoin to end up because they seem to be holding out on the chart. Okay, so that's very interesting. Now, this is all happening before FOMC, so they could be coming back to take the liquidity inside of this zone, break the region up here because people are placing limit buy orders to break higher. Let's quickly go into the order flow right here on Bitcoin. There it is right there. Now they're seeking value, going up into that zone, tried to come back down into that area, never made it. So now they are seeking value. Looking left, we've got deltas coming in at positive 77, 78. Low on the delta right here. That's good news, actually. That could suggest a little bit more movement to the upside. S&P is showing me nothing much right now because it's not fully open. Looking on the S&P index itself, I can see point of control at 5.7 thousand contracts. Value area high hasn't been taken just yet, but it's a very tight range. Value area low could be a point of interest at some stage later on, but it all depends on the interest of traders. Bitcoin's coming up right now. Hold on a second. It keeps on moving up. Where we at? Big commitment coming in. Aggressive buyers seem to be stepping in, but I am noticing on the pull stack area that some limit sellers are trying to prevent price. So they're going to be fighting the limit buys. They're going to be fighting them. Aggressive buyers are trying to come in at this point, but they're being matched with the aggressive sellers. And we are in an area of value which is prone for reversal. So just be mindful of that, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin is up. Green vector candle finally taking back that violet vector candle. We've got the orders here. We need to see these orders stay stacked. 679 Bitcoin at 28,440. Man, tonight is going to be absolutely fire. Ain't even going to be fire. It's going to be an inferno. It's going to be madness. Volcanic. I'm going to go absolutely crazy when I get onto FOMC. I'm so excited to that bad boy. If you are new, make sure you subscribe for that later on tonight, 6 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we bring that flavor. Now, look, Bitcoin is starting to come away from the VWAP. We've just had some liquidations taken, 33,000 liquidation points on the 16 events. Now we're just waiting to see if they can hold above this VWAP itself. Remember, there is a rotation with Bitcoin. It's going up and down and around the VWAP itself. The markets are not even open just yet, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see some volatility coming in 1 minute. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. This is it. The market is now going, bro, what are you doing, bro? Get on in that. Come on. Here we are. That was a big sell-off right there with 309 Bitcoin orders being sold off at that point. We really need to see if this order block right here at 28,440 is going to stand. We really need that to stand because they'll pull back, hit the limit buys, find support to only try and come back and attack that. But Bitcoin's now coming back into the vector candle recovery region right there. We want to see if it can sustain it. Not seeing no movement just yet. S&P starting to make some flavor, some move right there. So just keep an eye on that area. But more importantly, let me just get the order book again. Can we see anything happening? Delta's coming in. Bitcoin wants to pump up. The futures markets are showing commitment. Trading in value areas, a little bit dispersed on the volume of the futures markets and the CME markets for Bitcoin. Right now, I'm seeing not that much coming in just yet. I really need to see them just break this region here. Limit buys are coming in, trying to hold out 48. And then we've got 47 on the sell, 42, 37 again on the pull stack zone. We really need to see them battle this out and start shifting Bitcoin even higher. We are close towards a whole and half number. So we're going to hope 55 on that order block right there. 152 Bitcoin orders out there on the buy. It looks kind of interesting. There's more guys hitting the ask. So there is a goal to lift the ask, to try and move it to the next point to sell from. That's the goal. Now, Bitcoin is starting to climb up, fully recovering this wick in a very short moment. The big push right here away from the VWAP could be starting the move to the upside. Come on, 730 Bitcoin at 28,440. At that point right there, we would assume that there's some liquidations up there. Let's have a look at that. No, that's for XRP. Go away. Go away. There you go. Happy days. Come on. There we are. Thank you. Run that bad boy. Let's go back into the chart a second. Bitcoin pulled back very slightly. So let's go into here. Here we go. So we got some commitment coming in. Bitcoin orders coming in. 34 million at 28,348 has just come in, and their liquidation points are right now at 28,192. Don't use this as means to start going long. This is what retail traders are doing. We know the history of when they're going long at the highest point. Will this move sustain itself to trap traders, or are they going to come back down and eat that liquidation zone down at the 28,150 region? Let's go back into the book map itself just to make sense of that. Coming back into the VWAP right there, we've got 289 Bitcoin at 28,200. Still got the stack down below at 28,020, which has got 423 Bitcoin orders, 501 Bitcoin orders at 28,440. So they counted off 200 Bitcoin because that was 701 just a minute ago. 28,500, we got 480 Bitcoin orders, and that seems to be static in the chart. Now go back into the order book over here just to make sense of it. Please forgive me, guys, if I'm going too fast. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button for tonight's live stream. I'm saying it again. And if you are completely new and you don't know what to do or what's going on right here, make your way over to the Traders Reality website where you can download the indicators, scroll through and do the steps, download the hybrid system indicator through TradingView. And then, of course, you want to learn more about the hybrid system, check out the Patreon where we talk more about how to apply the hybrid system. 5-minute strategies, 15-minute swing trading, you name it, it's all there. And you also get into look into the madness of my brain as well. Anyways, Bitcoin back up again towards that 28,309, going into the order flow book again. Starting to see a little bit of a resistance inside of this zone. The value area high seems to be acting like a resistance point. Big delta coming in and marking it lower for us. Big delta coming in at that point. That is very interesting. Why is BTC pulling back? Have we found the area of resistance just yet? Hold on a second. Oh, that's for Euro. Let me get Bitcoin up right here. On the delta, give it a second. There it is. There's the delta. Give that a minute to wake up. S&P is coming back down again. Usually, Bitcoin follows S&P's movements. They need to really hold out inside of this area because at the lowest point, you can see right here, we've got 3,000 contracts coming in, which could be a bit of an absorption zone where the buyers are trying to step in and hold out price in this region. So we've got to be careful. We've got Bitcoin on the delta right here is coming up. It seems to be showing a little bit of a sell. We've got 299 orders right there on an imbalance, 3.1 right there. Not really seeing the commitment of the ask coming in yet. I really need to see aggressive buyers coming in, but they're still holding out of this value area high zone. We could see a test back down to the point of control, which could see Bitcoin go to 28,168. And we know that with the high block liquidations. Why on earth is that going short right there? Sorry. There we are on the 10-minute time frame. 5-minute time frame is pulling back down ever so sharply. That is unfortunate for the guys who went long. Violet vector candle could be a clue that they could be bringing it back up later on. Going to bookmap itself, coming back into the VWAP itself right there. Now having a look, 28,500, still got 430 Bitcoin orders at that point. 28,440, we've got 480 Bitcoin orders. Can Bitcoin sustain this and hold out in this zone? We want to see it show support at the value area high to continue back up again. So we're waiting for the limit orders, limit buys to hold. There you go. We've got some commitment coming in right now. 55 right there. There seems to be positive on the pull stack zone. They're going to push it back up again. They're seeking value, so we could see Bitcoin move up even higher. 5-minute time frame is giving me what? The violet vector candle recovery point, maybe. So they could come back up and eat the recovery of that zone, but we're talking smaller areas. And what I'm doing right here, guys, is getting you familiar with the way price is moving, all right? Because this is what you've got to be thinking about. You're making a judgment on every single move and change in price, okay? And the markets ain't even fully open, all right? just 5 minutes into the market. They're absorbing all the first orders that are coming into the marketplace. Euro, what's it doing? It's coming back down. Dominance of the dollar, what's it doing? Coming back up. Okay, cool. So that kind of gives us the idea of how the market is taking today. All right, altcoins are taking a little bit of a nosedive, but there you go. There's that recovery of that violet vector candle. We got the holding out on the value area high. If Bitcoin can't sustain this area, okay? If it can't get above 28,363, okay? It's probably going to start working its way back down again because it seems to be finding a wall of resistance right here until otherwise. And that, there we go. There we go. There's the push up there. 28.36. This is what we want to see. We want to see Bitcoin break that. There she goes, recovering that violet vector. Bookmap. Come on. I need to see it come up and eat that liquidity. 680 Bitcoin at 28,440. We know that they've been placing and canceling orders inside of this area. We really need to see them keep them static in the chart on that zone. Bitcoin needs to break out from this area for us to sustain a continued move up until FOMC. Wow. Here we go. We've got some movement. I need to be getting going. Here we are. Come on, Bitcoin. This is a beautiful test of the VWAP, which suggests rotation. Okay. Remember that what we said about the VWAP. Going to the VWAP zone again. Here we go. Rotation away from the VWAP. It really needs to break this upper band right here for us to suggest further volatility coming in. But if it is in rotation, then that means it comes up towards this zone to sell off again. So you guys make the decision on whether or not you decide to hold. But remember what happened to the XRP guys that went long. Now we've got guys going long in Bitcoin. Here we go. 34 million gone long. How sad is that? Let's just have a look at that. Here we go. 34.8 million has gone long at 28,348. Their liquidation points are at 28,192, but they might actually grab a little bit more interest. There is short liquidations at the top side right there. Bitcoin starting to climb up. Here we go. We've got that break of that 33 zone. Here we go. Here we go. Needs to break that 28,363 region itself. We can't see any resistance from the limit cells coming up at the top. 77.68. Could see a little bit of pullback right now. Be very cautious. 83.50. Might pull back a little bit, but they need to fight because the bids right here aren't coming in just yet. We are at value area high. They need to break beyond that 28,363 zone to really sustain a flush through the zone to the upside. S&P's coming up, but Bitcoin's not giving me the flavor. The pull stack orders are coming in positive, which is saying to me that there's limit orders, limit sells, trying to keep price down lower. But we really need to see the limit buys pushing in to encourage the aggressive buyers to step up and break through. Here we go. 28,363 needs to flush it. Once it flushes it, it's going to seek value and break even higher. There you go. Happy days coming up into the top band of that zone. Happy days going to the book map itself, coming up to that liquidity. 560 Bitcoin at 28,440. Still not taking the 28.5. Oh, big order coming in right there at 560 on 28,440. Still haven't taken it just yet. Trading away from the VWAP. Sharply pulls back yet again. Couldn't take that 23.63 zone. Now at 23.382 is the next zone. 28.382 is the next zone. But we're seeing this cluster of Bitcoin orders right here. 28,500 would be the goal for Bitcoin to try and make its way towards that 29 from now up until the FOMC if they do sustain this movement. But this is what I believe could be the trap. So just be very cautious. Take profits on the move going up. Sell into the rallies, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Mad love and respect for being with me today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. I need to go and have a sip of my good old coffee. Remember, we're looking for the eagle. Okay? Make sure you subscribe to check in with us later on tonight, 6 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that FOMC fire. Mad love and respect, guys. Peace. Mad days.